I may have fucked up.
Why?
Because it's not on Echoed Influence? Yeah, it is. Okay.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure.
Let me make sure I'm recording on Audacity. All right. Okay. I think we're good.
Cool. Are we on already? Okay. All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our 10th installment of Echoed Influence. United we stand. I'm here as always with modesty herself, April Rodriguez. Say hi. We are live at the Collab Incorporated here in Uptown Whittier for the Uptown Whittier Art Stroll. We have a special guest with us today. We have Mr. Alex himself.
Hey there, guys. Alejandro Rodriguez. Some know me as A-Rod. And pretty much all my social media is under Fluffles Rap. So if you ever see that name, it's me. It's me.
Nice.
Could you tell us real quick how you know us? Just a quick introduction on what you do.
I know you through April, Modest Betty.
Personally, maybe.
Yeah. And I met April through Home Gallery. It was something that we all wanted to do, and April was just the person to kind of step forward and really bones in the nervous structure of how she wants this thing done. And because my friend told me about it, I was able to find April, and we were able to work on that since then.
Yeah, I feel like what is it? You and Stevie were like the parents of Home Gallery, and we were just like the aunts and uncles. But we could not do this whole thing without the aunts and uncles, to be honest.
Sunday we had our night bike ride on. That was the 5th from 8 to 10 p.m. We started at Rivera Park and we rode all the way to Streamland, stopping at Smith. We stopped at where else did we stop?
It wasn't North Park. It was North Park's like parking lot.
Yeah. But thanks to Alex here and his girlfriend and Julian, they facilitated us some very nutritious treats and some water and things to keep us hydrated.
Definitely.
Thank you, Alex.
Although at Smith Park we weren't there. We were there early. We got bored, and my girlfriend wanted to get coffee. So okay,
we got our water. We were fine. I mean,
in all honesty, I thought you guys would have took a lot longer, but then I was surprised.
Well, we were just chilling on it too. Like we didn't expect to get there so fast ourselves.
Yeah.
Especially because there's a hill going into Smith Park that I don't know. Did you guys get off your bikes when you went there, or did you just stay on your?
Were you talking about the
hill that goes under
tracks?
under train tracks?
Oh, it's actually not that bad.
It's freaking downhill, and it just launches you uphill.
So
it's not so bad.
Up the speed?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really...
I was like, I just hope there's no cars here when I'm driving.
But like I don't know, the bike ride was pretty chill. I mean, I just enjoyed the breeze in my face and just like people just kind of looking at you. You got negative looks and positive looks, but we got looks nonetheless.
That's what really matters. I don't know. As long as they have some
attention is better than no attention.
If they don't pay attention, I mean, then you guys gotta worry because.
Anyway, we're gonna cash these foods the next time they do a freaking.
It was about 2 hours round trip too. Like it didn't even take that as long as I thought it was.
Which I was surprised that too. Like even with stopping. And there was no set number of how long you guys were going to wait. And you guys just felt when it was ready to leave, you guys would.
I got so excited. I mean, I want to do more. We want to do more and everything. And the next one we want to try and do is on Sunday, August 19th.
Which is about 2 Sundays from now. We're hoping to do water balloons also.
Yeah, and bring some water guns. We're hoping to do it a little bit earlier this time so we can see the sun and maybe shoot each other before.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it's yet to be determined. I mean, I'm pretty sure if we do it before, people are going to not hesitate to do after as well.
A little end of summer project. That should be good for everybody.
So we do have an event coming up this Friday at Smith Park, the Art Swap Meet and Meeting. So we'll be doing our regular Art Swap Meet where art is your currency and you trade with other people. But we're also going to meet for Home Gallery. So if you have any ideas or if you have any thoughts, come to the meeting. It'll also be at the Street Fest. So it'll be at the Street Fest. So you'll be able to have lots of fun. There'll be food. You'll get to hear Ozomatli.
That street fair is a lot of fun, guys. I mean, there's a beer garden. There's a place for... We're waving at some fans that are looking at us at the mirror or window. There's a place for your kids to hang out and have fun too. There's jumpers. I think there's a petting zoo. There was one last time. So
feel free to bring cash too.
Yeah, we're not going to deny cash. but yeah, like she said, like if you're new or you want to try it out, you want to see what we have to offer, please come down and see what we have to offer. See if you like any of it.
The best thing though is I think you gain to meet great artists from the community. I think that's the best way to meet friends here.
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to move on real quick, and I want to just ask you personally, what have you been up to, like just project wise? Have you been working on anything that you can share with us?
Project wise, I haven't really been doing anything outside of making flyers for every event now and then. I did a very last minute flyer, which I basically sew an anime picture of two people on a tandem bike?
Yeah.
What's called to be at the same time?
The tandem, yeah.
Yeah. So beyond that, I haven't done anything. I've been playing Civilization 6. I don't know if you've ever heard of that video game. It's like if you're a history buff, you'd really enjoy it. It's a point and click strategic video game. So basically you start off as a leader from Egypt or England or whatever time period. Cool. Certain leaders have certain like points that work for them. Like they might yield more harvest, or they might have stronger builders or something like that.
Is it like a war game too? It's like you just get men and then you strategically try and fight.
Play it like that. You could play it totally as a pacifist. You can just do it. I remember one time I was trying to like build up a huge army, and in the meantime, I really wasn't like counting anything, and I had won because my civilization was just so grand in terms of what do you call it? Like
resources and stuff.
Resources, but there's a specific word for it. I feel bad because I lost it. But there is a way to play where if your civilization is just so grand and it has like a lot of museums and art, if it's just like that socially big where people look at it, you just win the game. And I was like, oh, all this time I was like buffing up my character to like start taking down, and I was like, oh well, shouldn't have been so great.
What game is this again?
It's called Civilization.
Civilization 6, right?
6, yeah.
Okay.
But I know what got me into it was Xbox 360 and PS3. They have a Civilization Revolution, and that's a really easy to understand version of the game.
Was that the first version of it?
That's not the first version of it, but if you like to buy used games and you're interested in strategic games for a console, which in all honesty, you don't see that on consoles that often.
Like Dynasty Warriors was kind of like that, and some of the more knockoff Dynasty Warriors, like you couldn't really fight, but you were strategic in sending your men and everything. It wasn't really as hands-on as the other ones.
I would say it's a really fun game, but it's a slow ass game. If you are one of the gamers who needs to like be on a constant moving or shooting or something, you are going to hate the shit out of this game.
So you patience to play this game, y'all.
No, it's great. Like when you build a wonder pyramids or something.
So, hi, anybody who's online right now. How are you guys? Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, we just wanted to move on. We're going on to Mutant News. I just wanted to. Ruby Rose was casted as a Batwoman. And that's pretty cool, you know. Like she's an attractive woman, and to everybody, I'm pretty sure, you know.
I read too that she's is that woman lesbian?
Yeah, she's a lesbian.
So she's casted by.
You know what? But that was the change in the comic. Like she became a lesbian. The reason why she was initially brought out, we have it up on our Instagram, is because there was a lot of criticisms and a lot of people were saying that Batman was gay, because of how he was written and how you know it was just very
seduction of the innocent.
Exactly, and you know they speculated that Bruce was gay and everything, so they brought on Batwoman, had Batwoman as a love interest,
but they never really used her that well, and then Batgirl became the main female Bat person, so Batwoman kind of like
dissolved. And I think and then now we're back. Now we've made full circle. We even went through Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, who claims, Batman even claims that she can beat him in a hand-to-hand battle. And then now we're bringing back in Batwoman, who's a proud lesbian and stuff like that. As far as I know, she didn't have really a broken past. She's just doing the right thing with her money. Something Batman should just be doing. Also, December 4th, we got Aquaman. I'm excited for that. I'm growing the beard and the hair out so I can be him for...
December 4th? Is that true?
December 14th.
Oh, 14th.
Aquaman. And for the Kamikaze in October. That's the plan, y'all. I'm hoping you got to get back in shape and everything. And I got plenty of time. I lost weight, got to bulk up. I even called out Jason Momoa in the last episode, and hopefully
Are you gonna get your arm tattoo too?
No,
or
not that
just,
good. I'm hoping to get
sleeve?
like the suit, you know, or where if I do that, I'm gonna get a tank top that just says Finding Nemo on it.
If you can't do it last minute, then you should just go for 60s, 70s Aquaman.
Oh, the blonde hair and shit.
Would you dye your hair blonde just go for that thing?
That's where I draw the line. I think if that came down to it, I'll just be Khal Drogo. I just get some extensions. I got a friend that works across the street. Also too, October 5th, Venom is one of my favorite writers. Todd McFarlane, writer of Spawn, co-creator of Venom. I saw him do the actual Venom. It looks way better, but other than that, I'm still excited for this Venom.
How do you feel about the movie? In all honesty,
I saw it when I first saw the previews to it, and I saw him like ramble about how he's gonna bite this dude's head off. I was a little bit, I don't know how I feel about this. And then
but that's how a lot of the early Venom was.
That's what someone had pointed that out. They said, like, I like the fact that they incorporated a lot of not just the Venom symbiote's agenda or characteristics, they also combined it properly with Eddie Brock's, you know, condescending, witty, kind of like stumbles over what he says, and like, I'm going to bite your face off, and you're going to be walking around like a turd in the wind.
Not until later he really gets a good control.
Yes, and not just that, like, he becomes a great villain too. He's fighting Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's talking mad shit to him, so he gets a hang of it.
I'm going to be a person who has to wait for the reviews from not just the regular critics, but like my friends too, because the trailer's not really grabbing my attention at all. I like Tom Hardy as an actor. For some reason, this movie doesn't have me
convinced,
hooked yet. You know,
I see.
Like, you know, I don't know what it is.
I mean, it looks really interesting.
I think it looks very. I'm gonna go give it a shot. When they release more trailers, they only released 2. But when they release 3 or 4, let's see how you feel then. They might bring in something a little bit newer. So it's like with Shazam. I'm not excited for Shazam at all. It's really kiddie, but you know, I've yet to see certain things. The director even said, "Hey, we haven't even put fight scenes out there because you guys aren't even ready." So
Shazam is probably the only DC property that I
interested
really want to see.
I see.
Just because I like that character so much, and I think even though people kind of have this agenda of how a Marvel movie and a DC movie are going to feel, I feel like you can keep that in whatever DC universe you want, that kind of feeling, that kind of gritty feeling in it, and still have room. Basically, you could have, instead of, I think people would want Lobo to be this kind of Deadpool DC character.
Yeah,
I think
I've been telling her I've been dying to see a Lobo. Maybe I'll do that. Shit, instead of going Aquaman, I'll just do a Lobo.
Just do my face.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea. Thank you.
But I think Shazam can pull a lot of that lighthearted, you know, we're in a comic book movie,
comedic relief.
Not just that, but also a kid who looks up to Batman, Superman, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. Just these like this, you know, and he can suddenly just become it. That's what
I get what you're saying, because he puts it puts him well into the perspective of what a kid really wants out of a superhero. Like, he wants to become a superhero, join superheroes, work with superheroes, and still be a kid doing it. You know, and that's basically what Shazam does, or is Billy in this case. But I'm excited for the Spider-Man video game coming out on September 7th. Have you seen the gameplay to that?
Have you seen the trailers for the Spider-Man animated movie with
Miles Morales?
It's with all the Spider-Mans basically.
No, but like I did just the game though. Like, if you've seen the gameplay of the game, oh my god! Like, I just saw it because from IGN. I was watching it with my nephew. He loves, and he gets to pick the video. And he just happened to pick this one. I saw the gameplay, and it was like, wow.
Amazing. Someone
had wrote me saying, like, it's as if, I know this didn't happen, but it's as if Peter Parker lost his spider sense, learned to train, probably with someone like Iron Fist, came back, got his spider sense, and then started to do it. You know, because he was so like martial art while mixing it with the spider. I guess this is what we expect Spider-Man to be. And we've confirmed it earlier that Doctor Strange and the Daredevil are going to be in the video game.
That's cool.
I don't know if they're going to be playable, but if they are, video game of the year. I mean, like, and I'm saying that over God of War. Don't kill me for it, but I mean, like, if that's how it is, I mean, I know what it's like to be Kratos. I have no idea what it's like to be Doctor Strange, you know? So
not a lot of Magic user first games. You have to really look for that.
So look out for that. Spider-Man is gonna come out soon, y'all. You catch me playing it too online. I'll record a few.
So we're gonna move on to which is community. Since we're here, if you guys can see behind me here, we're at the Collab Incorporated and in Uptown Whittier, right? And they're all about collaborating, coming together, working together. So they have these spaces. I'll post a picture of this up on our website.
Waving at our fans
I'm
and
just
everything.
going to show you
Hey,
real
guys.
quick. So they let you use spaces to do any kind of
in
meetings
that
or
one, too.
work or things like that. Things
Probably
of that
backwards
nature.
now. It's okay.
I'll post it up on the. I'll post a picture of it up.
But this place is really fantastic. Like, it's a real
Yeah.
awesome workspace. As soon as I walked in, it felt like a gym, but for your mind. You know,
Mhm.
there's a workout space for everything here. You can take pictures, do film, be on the. If you have a business proposition that you want to go over, it's all here. You know, it's like an active library.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty cool here, and you know, that's something similar to what we do, like in our community, what we provide for Home Gallery. You come down, you know, we'd like to provide a safe space for you guys to try any art you want. And so, like, there's places to go, y'all. There's places to go, and we're one of them. So just like
So-
community, you know.
Another one is collabing, though. So if you're feeling like you want to go somewhere or you want to have a steady place to work, or if you like us do podcast and you want to have
That's
a
what
place
we're
to
in
work,
right now.
yeah, they let us use their studio today, and it is awesome in here. I mean, it's cool. We're right here. People can see us. It's a really great work.
Hey, there's that. She came to our last show. Oh, she can't see us.
Hey.
It's okay. Hey.
She's looking away.
She's like, she saw us, and she's like,
I know.
nah. She's gonna laugh when she sees that.
It must also be said that if you're on the technical end of it, you can record videos. They have a green screen set
Oh
up
yeah,
right
they
here.
right
do,
there.
Yeah.
You can do all
So
kinds
cool.
of stuff here.
So,
So
I
if you have
mean-
any kind of editing,
Mhm.
stuff like that, this place is the perfect place
Come
for you.
check it out at least
Yeah.
for a day. You know, you come do some work down here, bring a friend or something. But like I said, on the theme of our theme for today for this episode is community.
United we stand.
Not just community, tribes, teamwork, anything
Mhm.
that involves people coming together to work towards something positive together.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start off the theme of the episode by asking, what is community to you? So what would you say community is?
I got to lean more towards what you said, tribe. Like, it's a tribal thing, and I think when you think about, you know, like Native Americans and stuff, they constantly work together. And any play on tribes, you know, like Avatar and shit, like those tribes, they're helping each other build towards something that's bigger than themselves. They're not progressing technologically per se; they're progressing consciously. It's something that I prefer, you know, and I think with what we have and what we're doing and what our community is, we're very much displaying how much we care about one another.
Mhm.
And that's what I feel community is ultimately supporting and caring one another. No matter, like, I mean, yes, there's these boundaries of, like, if there's scumbag pieces of shit, it's hard to keep them a part of your tribe, but it's our duty as that tribe to build them up to become better people. You know, I feel like it's a responsibility we have. So community is more about supporting and protecting and loving one another. That's how I feel. How about you, Alex?
For me, community is always about people coming together and finally connecting on either moral or sometimes just having fun. It depends on what it is, because I want to jump off of the religious thing you talked, the tribal thing we're talking about. But I mean, religion too is something where I think a lot of people go just kind of like find themselves, and eventually they find others that can really tether themselves to each
Like-minded
other.
people, yeah.
I was gonna say something like the arcades, but there's
Mhm.
not arcades anymore, really.
Yeah,
so.
you gotta really dig, man. Like, we went to the last art show in Fullerton,
Yeah.
and it was really cool because the guy had an arcade inside of the comic book store, and you know, there's a lot of kids just stuffed in there. You could dig, it's just real stuff, and it was cool. So you're right, finding an arcade is a bitch nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
You know,
I
and I think
know-
that's something they need to bring back, or put him in bars, knowing that our generation is now fucking grown up.
Yeah.
Put the motherfucker in a bar.
Well,
82,
they're-
you're on the
They
way.
used to be like that, and then somewhere near the late 80s, it was like, okay, well, kids want to play these really bad anyways, so let's stop putting cup holders on the side and do it.
So they just made it like mentally just strenuous. Like, I'm already fucking losing, and you can't even put a goddamn quarter so I can re-up, you know?
Mhm.
But that would be great. But like I said, once people start being connected on a certain level to something, that's when it really starts to begin to flourish.
Mhm.
And I feel like the art community for Home Gallery is something that's really strong, almost family-like.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I feel like the art in our communities is just like that hidden gem. Like no one's really noticed it. And like once we put it on display, everybody loves it. Everybody loves what we're trying to do and everything.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I mean, I love what we do, man. I mean, shit, I hope it never ends. Do you want to dive in deeper about that?
I mean, I think you guys did a great job of talking about community and what it is. My idea is very similar, which is that community is like family, but you get to choose it and you support one another and encourage one another and accept one another as you are, really, you know, like I think a lot of times we feel like our family doesn't accept us or we don't necessarily fit in. So we want to be the family that always accepts you and that you always fit into.
The place where you can never fail. I always like to say that, like, you know, a lot of people are afraid of that. Mostly the pressure is on your shoulder of failing. But when you perform in front of us and you make a mistake, we don't ever notice it. We support you fully as a family should. You know?
Mostly because we're also making mistakes along the way.
And who are we to judge? You know, like, and that's every artist, though. Every artist should be that humble, though. Like, no artist is perfect. You know, so, I mean, just something to reflect on, I guess. Yeah. So let's move on. We're moving on to famous fictional team-ups. Now, I wanted to share my top 5 powerful and ranked powerful team-ups, okay? First one on my list is the Eternals. Now, the Eternals are, like, if you got the Avengers and you got the Justice League and you teamed them up, they say these guys are immortal. Every time they die, they come back stronger. I mean, they're celestial killers. You know, they do it on the daily. They killed Thanos, you know? They did their part. They're a very strong group, and I think they're not very popular, and they should be. Now, Marvel has already confirmed that these guys are going to come out in Phase 4, so y'all better get some Eternal comics and read up, especially the one from Neil Gaiman. The one from Neil Gaiman is the best one. It explains it thoroughly, perfectly, and it's a fucking ride. You guys would love it. It has drama and all that shit. And so my second one, Original Defenders. The Original Defenders consisted of Doctor Strange, the Hulk, Submariner, you know, Namor, and Silver Surfer. Those guys are fucking straight. Those guys are so powerful. I think just four of those guys can take out a lot of those notable teams that we know. I won't say they're like the Avengers. I'm going to say it anyways. I'm going to say, no, the fucking Avengers. I think these guys, like, you know, even though some of them are part of the Avengers, you know, I think if you, like, you know, duplicate, I think they would be unstoppable, especially when you got guys like Silver Surfer, who's basically a faster Superman, you know. A guy can interdimensionally travel in a blink of an eye and just as strong. So, and then my third one are the Avengers, you know. Can't deny that those guys are actually fucking badass, and they have guys like Thor on their team and a bright mind like Tony Stark's and Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye is a very underrated character, and he's done more than his fair share. At number 4, we have, it was hard. 4 and 5 were hard. I have 4 at Justice League and 5 with the Thunderbolts. Now, with Ross's Thunderbolts, which is the Red Hulk, Deadpool, Elektra, Agent Venom, the Punisher, Ghost Rider, and Mercy. And Mercy's like, she's a lot like Hela. So that team is fucking badass. So, I mean, it was a tie between Justice League and the Thunderbolts. And my honorable mention, the Green Lantern Corps. I think they're fucking unstoppable force because you use your will. Just like Captain America. He's as strong as his will is. And I think there's a lot of strong-willed characters throughout the universe.
It's over there.
What is
Shield.
Oh, yeah,
the Shield. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have our props. We'll have them proper.
We'll get there.
So to open up that round, or to open up the board to anybody else who wants to name some.
So I think I would put Legion of Doom.
Oh, okay. You know what? They were a thought too, but
there's not a lot of, at least in the Marvel universe, I can't really say that there's, except for maybe the Sinister Six. I like seeing that in the Spider-Man universe when they team up.
But Spider-Man beat all those guys by himself.
Yeah. So I don't like seeing any other Marvel villains really team up in terms of, like, I always want to see them do their own thing. Like, I don't really want Dr. Doom to work with, you know, Red Skull or that doesn't even work. Or even Magneto. Like,
those two dudes are too, how do you say, like, yeah, I can see what you're saying though.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Injustice League?
Yeah.
Oh, I know
very
similar.
Yeah.
Like more active characters like Black Manta and Deathstroke are on that team, you know?
I like to see something like that come out of, I don't know, next couple of movies, because I think the villains working together sounds like just as much of an interesting idea as, like, heroes working together.
Exactly.
You see it working in Avengers and in Guardians of the Galaxy, it would be fun. I mean, Suicide Squad was
I'm not gonna say anything about that.
bright. It was really colorful and bright. There was a lot of stuff going on at one time.
Will Smith was cool.
Yeah, I guess.
I think they could have done that whole movie without Harley Quinn, and it would have been better. I mean, I never mind. I'm not gonna get into that.
So that's
yeah.
Legion of Doom. I don't know if you watch Venture Brothers.
Ooh, I love
Oh,
Venture Brothers.
So have you been catching up on the new season?
I haven't seen the new ones.
I think they only showed the first episode, so I think you could catch up.
Okay.
What's it on Hulu, Netflix, something?
I know it's on Hulu because I've been watching it back to back with my
Nice.
girlfriend, but I don't know if the latest
Venture
episode,
Brothers. Write that down.
if the latest episode was on Hulu or not. You'll probably have to look it up on the internet. And
I
find
think I
that
have
specific.
the first 2 seasons on DVD actually.
Okay. Yeah, but that's probably my favorite Adult Swim show. That show has done a lot of really good storytelling from the very beginning to the end to where it is right now. I love it. But they have the Guild of Calamus Attent, and if you actually follow it, you find out that they started out as like basically well-known people from history, but as supervillains or like I forgot who it was. It was Aleister Crowley. He was one of the Guild of Calamus Attent, and Teddy Roosevelt was one of the good guys. So I think that's really funny.
That's
it's like
cool.
yeah. I like how they did that on Venture Brothers, and basically how Rusty Venture, his dad, was on there because he was just a super scientist / billionaire playboy of his day. So he got to like join in, and because of that, all of that fame got forced onto his son after he grew up, and that's why he's all screwed up because he has to live up to his dad's image, and he can't really do it as well.
It's most of our battles.
Yeah.
How about you, AP? Do you have any fictional team ups that you can?
No, the ones that I thought of were more
Non-fiction?
non-fictional.
Well, let's dive right in.
Okay.
You want to give us a non-fictional group?
Sure. The one that, if you know me, you know that I love Teddy Roosevelt, and he's one of my favorite people in history of all time. So the one I want to bring up is the Rough Riders. If you're not familiar with the Rough Riders, they're a group of volunteer cavalry that went to go fight in the Spanish-American War to kind of get the Spanish out of Cuba.
Cuba Libre. I think that's where that came from.
And so the thing is that Teddy quit his job he was in the Navy, I believe, and I think he was like a
high-ranking officer.
Yes, he was a high-ranking officer, and he quit because he wanted to be part of the volunteer cavalry and go fight them. So there were a group of people that were athletes, college athletes, cowboys, farmers. You know, he was able to bring this like ragtag group of people together to go fight for people's freedom. So I mean, how do you not mention the Rough Riders in this in the team up? You know, when you're talking about famous teams, I think they're an awesome real life example of a great team up.
What it means to be rough. One of my nonfictions, probably my favorite, and I brought him up last time, is Spartacus and Crixus with his rebel army and everything. I if you watch the show or know your history, it wasn't until the division between the two where things started to get really fucked. But them together were pretty much unstoppable. They made Rome bleed, and with a bunch of slaves, people who thought that their way of life was to basically clean up after or do some nasty shit for Romans. That's what they thought life was. And for Spartacus to convince these guys otherwise, it'd be like if you were to go to everybody or someone's house and be like, hey, don't go to work. We're going to start the mission. No one's going to fucking do that. No. How do you convince someone to do that? Because I feel like in some cases, people who are so stagnant in their life and everything, they're somewhat of a slave. You know, they're a slave to their money, their possessions, or whatever. So, you know, you'll come up with an excuse why you want to go to work and keep that shit. And Spartacus was a guy who broke people of that thought. And I think when he added Crixus onto that arsenal, it was just an unstoppable force. And these guys, to me, are the greatest warlords who ever walked the planet. And they were viciously trained gladiators. And that was probably what threw off Romans the most.
Is there a version of Spartacus that you like the most?
The Stephen D. Knight version. It's the series, the Netflix series.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with the Douglas one either.
Oh yeah, there's tons of iterations.
Versions, yeah. There's a documentary version. There's all kinds of different ones, but my favorite is the Stephen D. Knight because I feel just like in God of War when they brought up Tyr, they brought up historical accuracy And in this, he did his research and tried to mend it as well. You know, I went back and tried to find holes in this shit. The only thing that he did differently was the ending of Spartacus. Like, we don't, as history goes, we don't know what happens. In the story that Stephen D. Knight made, he shows it. I'm not going to tell you, but he shows it. And I just think the historical accuracy was just enough to keep me watching it. And then adding the drama without any inch given, it was amazing. I loved it. My best show ever made to me. Mm. How about you? What's a nonfiction?
Queen and David Bowie.
Ooh,
Under Pressure is a really good song.
Ooh, I love that shit.
And I really love David Bowie and Queen. Queen to me is my favorite band of all time, and David Bowie, he's just so talented as an entertainer. I guess it's good that they only did one song, that they kind of like keep it at that high. Like, you can't really jump off of that, because to do like a full album or something would really, you know, put a lot of pressure and strain on what people think is good.
And then a lot of people would criticize that shit.
Yeah, like, oh, this sounds too much like Queen. Or this sounds like too much like David Bowie. Or this doesn't sound like what I want it to sound like.
Constantly waving at folks.
Yep.
Hey, everybody who's looking.
Julian.
Hey, one thing too, guys, be sure to ask us questions or anything. We'll be happy to answer them at the end of the show. Yeah, it's just like anything. If you disagree with us or some shit, you want to talk shit to us,
we're here. If you have a famous fictional team up that you want to tell us about, or
we'll shout it out.
Yeah.
We'll shout it out. Do you want to bring up one more?
Yes, I have one more. I wanted to bring up the Wu-Tang Clan, which I think is very much like our home gallery crew, because the Wu-Tang Clan actually started with, I think it's pronounced RZA.
RZA.
Yeah, and he pretty much brought the group together, and he, like, the Wu-Tang Clan really had an effect on hip hop. Not only did he help them get contracts that would contract as a group, the Wu-Tang Clan, but he worked it out so that they would be able to get individual contracts as well, so they weren't stuck to one group contract, but they could work individually. But they also changed the language of hip hop. They just made all of these improvements, and they kept going, and they didn't want to stop, and they were trying to make changes. They expanded their merchandise. You know, they had clothing lines. It wasn't just music. They were creating an empire. And so they're really awesome.
Just tell them what we have to wait until we're done.
And yeah, that's my Wu-Tang Clan is my personal favorite non-fictional team up.
I want to bring up one more. Just comedic crews, comedic crews like Seth Rogen and Adam Sandler's crew, Monty Python's crew, just those comedic powerhouses that you can't deny.
I'm a big Kids in the Hall fan. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that sketch series. It's just a group of 5 Canadian dudes. They're really funny. They had a show called Death Comes to Town on IFC. I don't know if you ever saw it. Do you ever watch IFC?
I know IFC,
yeah. Kind of well known, I guess. I know they used to run on Saturday Night Live and The Tonight Show. Like I said, they just came together one time, and they did this really, like, I don't know how to explain it. In some ways, it reminds me of Portlandia, but I don't like Portlandia.
I've never really watched it.
But the jokes seem kind of like this, like, surreal, like, comedy to it, like almost too silly to be like live action sketch comedy.
Over the top stuff.
Yeah, over the top, but they'll also do like weird, like black and white, almost German expressionist films, comedies. Like if you there's a lot of people who don't like that, but I feel like there's a lot more of comedy like that, and specifically today.
And you could appreciate that.
Yeah. There's a lot more people who probably didn't look at it the first time around. And now, looking back at it, they can really say, oh, I've seen art like this and other comedians, stuff like this. So it's a good sketch comedy all around.
Should we pull in?
Should we? I mean, it's hot out there.
Yeah, we're pulling.
Okay. I'm going to let somebody in.
We're going to let
we have enough room and everything?
Yeah. We'll have him come over here. I don't know if he'll actually talk in it or not.
Well, he just should like take pictures and stuff, no?
Yeah.
Okay. This is awesome. Okay, the next segment that we're gonna move into, when we get ready.
We'll let them.
Oh, you don't want to announce it?
Not yet. Not
Okay. How's it going? You want to leave that open? Yeah, leave it open.
Okay.
You could just move in a little bit closer, or maybe on this side. Maybe you can. There's a lot of space over there. There's a.
What would you recommend?
Where should he sit? Because Alex is sitting here. Maybe
Yeah, it's
right there.
kinda, we're good.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, it feels so good.
Yeah, it feels amazing over there. It's okay. No, it's like I said, it's still better than outside. We used to have our podcast outside, and
Yeah.
even at nighttime it sucked. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Can you help her out, Alex?
We're just gonna get a little settled.
Yeah, we're just getting settled back in.
Yeah. Don't mind us.
We're just gonna let one of the crew members roast out there.
Yeah. So we're here, and once again, we'll just tell you guys we're here at the Uptown Whittier Art Stroll, here at the Collab Inc.
Mhm.
If you're not here, you should come out and check. It's really awesome. There's tons of vendors out
Come by
there.
and say hi, y'all. We'll give you a sticker. I love saying that. Come by, give you a sticker.
Bunch of vendors out here. It's looks like everyone's having a lot of fun. So come out and try it out. See,
Is anybody
see what it's all about.
is anybody waving on?
Julian.
Hi, Julian.
I think he's.
She's gonna call us right back right before she comes. She's gonna walk around.
Okay.
Is it okay if I give you, or do you want to give one of your numbers to her?
Yeah, go.
Okay.
Okay, no problem.
So our episode today is on community.
The show.
Yeah, our episode
Yeah,
today is
that's
community. Since we're
perfect.
here at
Thank
the
you so
Collab
much.
Incorporated, we
Okay.
thought community, and that's why we trying to bring on the Home Gallery crew to talk about community and so we just talked about some famous fictional team-ups
Mhm.
and some famous non-fictional team-ups. So we
Okay.
talked about Avengers, and we talked about
The
Defenders
Defenders.
and the
Just a
Eternals.
quick rundown of review.
And we talked
y'all.
about for non-fictional, we talked about the Rough Riders and Wu-Tang Clan,
Okay.
and they talked about Spartacus, and he talked about the Kids Next Door. So just some groups, and David Bowie and
Kids in the Hall.
There
Kids
we
in the
go,
Hall.
Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the
Yeah. So it's we talked about like team ups. So that's our theme for today.
Okay.
Hall. Excuse me. Sorry.
How you doing, ma'am? Staying cool outside?
Yeah. Yeah.
As cool as I'm gonna
There's
get.
one out there, huh?
I actually just got finished seeing Hereditary for the first time.
What's that?
It's a movie, right?
Horror movie. Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
It was kind of got like washed out in the press or whatever. Like like there were people that were like, it's the scariest movie ever, and then that was it.
No.
So, AP, let's move on to one of our favorite segments. Would you rather? You can set up this one.
Okay.
Chris.
So our would you rather today is
You seem
since
super
it's-
excited.
It's not that bad. This is not that. It's just a little exciting to know how people are going to answer.
Yeah, it's a team themed one. So would you rather teach sex ed to the Teen Titans,
Okay.
or would you rather teach adolescent mutants about the importance of hygiene and wearing deodorant and Axe because they smell really bad, you know?
You know, the thing about the mutant one is that you're going to have to atone for every single mutant because they're all different. You fucking get special deodorant to put under Archangel's wings and shit. You know, like special conditioner for Beast's fur and shit. Like you would have to look into every single one of them scientifically and figure out how to hygienically, educate them.
Teach them how to
Yeah.
take care of themselves.
So, and then teaching sex ed to the Teen Titans isn't so bad until I think about Raven or underage Raven. See, that's a pedophile joke. Anyways, so I think I would. I think I would teach adolescent mutants about the importance of hygiene, just because the adolescence of them, they're confused. Even as a normal human, you're confused if no one's teaching you. So I think it's important for them to not fucking die of some kind of bacteria disease. So I'm gonna go and Show them how to clean themselves. How about you?
And actually, it wasn't until you started talking about having to talk about their different smells. Like I'm sure there's some that don't really need that. You know, some that are just made out of ice. So naturally, they just don't.
Some just clean themselves.
And some that are like, imagine having to talk to the blob about it. You know, that guy just rolls on rolls and everything. And it's not just deodorant. Okay, he has to clean in between those rolls.
Baby powder.
Get like a fucking mop with some actual mat cleaner. Get in between that shit.
So I don't think I'd mind talking to the Teen Titans about sex education. I know I could talk to Robin about it. Real easy.
Isn't it possible that Dick Grayson might upstage you on it? He might know more about it.
No, I would say by all means, Mr. Grayson, teach the rest of the class. I think Raven wouldn't care for it.
But then how do you teach Beast Boy?
I think Beast Boy would be the only problem child in that.
Well, Cyborg doesn't have a penis.
Oh yeah, so I mean, if he wants to take the day off,
but he's gonna don't show up to class this time, you know. But I want to learn how to have sex. That's not my fucking problem. You know? Actually, it is. So I think
I guess he could get a virus.
That's a good one. Hi.
So yeah, and from what I know from Starfire, her people are pretty cool with like being.
She seems like the oblivious
naked.
blonde anyway, you know.
Well, she can't speak English. She has to kiss people before she can learn their language. Mm-hmm. So I guess that makes sense. And
Dick Grayson
and they make it, like I said, a lot in the comics that she shows off a lot of skin, almost for the same reason that Superman does.
These are underage children.
Yeah. I don't know, but I feel like her people have a better understanding of.
I see. Like they're more
like culturally, they're
advanced.
Far more advanced in terms of like being in a relationship and what sex is.
Mm-hmm.
They're also like a warrior like planet, so
you can learn a lot from her, I suppose.
Yeah, man, she might be the one teaching part of the class too,
yeah,
which is good. So you know what? I'd rather do the Teen Titans because I really don't have to do that much teaching.
I see. I just wanted to have like fucking Raven read my mind and just say it for them. How about you, AP?
I think I'd do Teen Titans.
Teen Titans sex ed?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I'm the only one who cares about the children.
What about you, Raymond?
So, I'm a terrible person. I only heard the first option, which was Teen Titans sex ed, and the second option was
like teaching
adolescent mutants about the importance of hygiene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like teaching them that they have to wear deodorant and Axe body spray and stuff.
Just really cleaning themselves, presenting themselves.
And I'm preventing those viruses from going on to the Teen Titans sex, so you're welcome.
Oh man, that's. I mean, I guess if anything, I'd say I'm just gonna stare right into the camera. Probably just teaching sex ed, just because it doesn't require like the way I would teach it wouldn't be a hands-on.
I hope not. Oh my god.
Yeah. But it was an option though. Oh man. Is anybody saying anything on there? No, I'm on my way. All right. Woo. That's the homie Andrew. Thank you, big dog. Got an awesome Silver Surfer here for you.
So can I just say, completely off topic, parking was a mission.
Yeah.
So if you're coming out, just keep that in mind.
Fucking Uber it or ride your bike.
Park down the street.
Or next time show up a little bit early. Y'all too late. You know.
Transport anything you can to get out of here.
Just tell your homie to drive you or whatever.
Where'd you end up parking?
There's my mom.
Hi, Mom. She waved at you?
Yeah, she heard me.
She's like across the street, y'all. By the way. And she still saw her.
In this closed-off room. Okay, so we're going to continue on with our topic for the episode of community, and I wanted to talk about why community is important. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to go over a little bit of the evolution of American families in the last 100 years and how it went from more community-based areas where you had these small little cities where people worked with their families mostly, had their own small businesses, you know, and then you get the Industrial Revolution that comes and you now have little urban areas where family is not so much important, not as important, you know.
Yeah, like they sounds like they're like doing what they
separating.
can to separate us.
Yes,
from
and then
our
in the
families.
1950s and 60s, of course, you get the idea of the nuclear family, where you
Mhm.
should only have the mom, dad,
Two and a half
kids, and a dog. And so
Breakfast in the morning and shit.
so not only does you're now separated from your family and you're isolated into this small, tiny family.
And it's not just that, the influence too. It's like, what, you're living at home with your dad, you're living at home with your mom, even if you're paying the bills and all that shit, you're still living at home. And it's like, they're insinuating that like you're better off living without your family, when like maybe it works for some people, but I don't know, for someone like me, I need that sense of community or tribe, and I love my family. Fuck, man.
Well, for me, honestly, I think that the suicide rates lately, all of the things that have been happening are impacted by the fact that we are so separated from our family.
Yeah.
No longer do we live in a big home with a extended family, cousins, aunts, and so on. We're told that we're not good enough, or that we're wrong if we stay with our family past like 22, or if we're
and I think like older people are quick to be like, man, at 19 I moved out, I had 2 kids, and it's like, yeah, whatever, Danny, you fucking, your house was $43,000 when you fucking got it,
But if you think about it too, though, like when you break up with someone, or if you lose a job and you live on your own, you're stressed out, you feel all alone, you feel abandoned. But
could you imagine if you had that support of your family? You would never feel that way.
If you lived with your family and you knew that they weren't going to kick you out and that you didn't have to leave,
or even make fun of you, give you a hard time, like I feel like a tribe in that sense, like the community is what builds you back up.
Definitely.
Like if we were Native Americans and something like that happened, you would know, like, hey, you got a family, peace, but they love you, we're gonna go hunting tomorrow, whatever the fuck, there is no loss of, your soul in a sense, like you don't feel alone or anything in any way when you have that sense of community. And I think where we're at now, where society has set it up, it's like we have isolated ourselves, we're alone, we're confused, we're lost. And I know I every time I do feel like, fuck, I don't know what to do. My resort is to, hey, where's my pops? Where's my mom? Like they know how to do it, and it's like, I feel that sense of security.
So a big thing, I think, in our modern age is to figure out how to kill the nuclear family and how to bring back.
Well, not the idea.
Yeah.
Let me put let's kill some families.
But kill the idea of the nuclear family, because so many of our families now, if you realize too, that are built on couples who are same-sex couples, families that are almost together, or like quilted together almost, so
some relationships are just together financially, just for the financial stability and everything, and that's where we ended up. This is just where we're at now.
So I think building a sense of community is important, because it takes away all of the loneliness that we feel as humans naturally. Even when we are in groups, and even when we are in tribes, there's still that tendency to feel lonely every now and then. So being in a big group, I feel like will reduce some of that and make us feel more at ease.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you guys why you think community is important.
From the person, well, I mean, I think I kind of explained it a little bit, but go ahead.
I think humans are just social people altogether. As much as I think a lot of people like to pretend that at any moment they can unplug and get away from everybody at one time. And I'm sure there are people out there, Ted Bundy.
To say it like famous. But you're right. We're natural. I feel like we're naturally like that. If you look at us as bacteria that we are, or any kind of biological living cells, like the hotter things get, they separate. The colder things are, they kind of come together because they're trying to warm. That's a small sense of community right there. I mean, I guess that would be my answer.
What about you, Raymond? Why do you think community is important?
I mean, you guys kind of covered most of the ground as far as I could say, but like it's, I think, yeah, I would just kind of be reiterating your guys' points, but like, community is something that like you can come together on. Like, when I think of community, I think of something like very specific, like it's very purpose driven, and to me, community is like a group of people coming together with like, I guess similar, like, like I said, purposes, interests, and,
like-minded. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important too in a community, is that to have people that have similar goals as you. I mean, I know recently, like I've had a lot of friends in my life, and it wasn't until honestly that I started spending more time with the home gallery crew, where I actually felt like I was with people that wanted to do the same things that I did.
We're striving and progressing towards the same path.
And I actually felt like I was progressing and felt like I was actually moving forward. I felt like before that, friends were just kind of like, I don't really want to do that. That doesn't really seem, like, let's just do something else. Let's just do something easier. And so, you get stopped in your tracks that way. And it's just been nice to have a group of people that, like I said, want the same thing.
Because it's also like that support also makes everybody else confident.
Yeah.
Everybody else is down for it. Like, okay, what do you need? You need MC? I'll do it. Shit, because I'm around my homies. There's no way they're gonna tell me like I'm fucking up. I mean, it depends on what type of homies you got. I mean, I know we got their separation. I mean, I know you and all of us, mostly guys, got those set of group of guy friends who you just talk shit to you all fucking day, and that's it. You come back home and you're all like relieved because you just got it all out of you.
What I find comes from community too is finding yourself more in tune with what that community's purpose is, because of that community. Like for instance, like joining Home Gallery, like I felt like that sense of community of like just being an open, accepting group of artists, and really trying to like just create art for like the love of it. And that ever since I joined Home Gallery, like I've found myself appreciating like all art that I see, and a lot.
That's good.
I feel like being around you guys definitely like helped cultivate a more like embracing attitude, and like and looking deeper into just art and the process, and I don't know, it's definitely an important thing to be in a community and grow those concepts that you have on your own.
So we're moving on to one of our fan favorite segments. It's counseling with comic book couples. Now, I have a letter, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. It says, "Hello, EI. I feel my entire team thinks I'm weird. I just want to fit in so badly. My boyfriend is the only one who accepts me, but when others don't, he gets as emotional as he is strong. So you can see my dilemma. Any advice? P.S. Your show is the greatest." So, do you have any advice on that?
Well, I think it's important first and foremost, communication is important. I think we a lot of times think that people just understand us just because we understand ourselves, or to the extent that we understand ourselves. But I think it's important to communicate with your team how you're feeling and what you're thinking and what's going on. I know it's not always easy, but it's important to make sure that you let them know.
If I could also speak on your boyfriend as well, it's like you got to make it a little bit clear on your own boundary. You're a grown woman, and you need to, you have your own battles that you need to fight, and your own challenges you need to sort out. If your problems with your team, handle it with your team, and then handle your boyfriend separately. You don't want to kind of join those two things in. From my understanding, it sounds like your boyfriend's part of the team, so it's even more important and it's more delicate. So just proceed with caution. Like she said, much understanding, much communication. That's what's going to work. And whatever fits for you two, you'll figure it out.
Anyone else have anything they want to add in?
Try going on vacation.
I mean, fuck, you're
Holiday.
superpowered beings. You should be able to go anywhere.
Holiday away.
So, real quick too, we'll personally deliver a free sticker if you can tell us who was writing to us in that letter. Okay.
Okay.
I'll show him the answer.
Ah.
See, it made a little sense, huh? Let me show at the top right there. Okay. Okay. So we're moving on to EI recommendations. You know, it's basically a segment where we sound off everything that we recommend that you guys either watch, read, or, you know, go visit, you know. So we'll start off with AP. AP, what is your...
Well, our first one is obviously Collab Incorporated. If you haven't checked it out, you should come out. If you want to have meetings here or just do some work here, this is definitely a place nice, quiet, nice and cool. They have bathrooms. They have kitchen. They have all
some
kinds of
bomb
stuff.
water, like just some like, I don't know, filtered 7 times water. But aside from that, you know, they're themselves are very hospitable.
Yes,
They're very nice. They will help you with whatever it is that you want to get done and started. They don't hold anything back to help you. So, you know, they have, like he said, there's green screen back there. There's places for you to do your art and your work.
And they have they do workshops once a week that if you're a part of the
for business
monthly
and tax
pass,
and stuff.
for
And they have an
small
upstairs
businesses.
meeting room too. So,
so check it out. At least, I mean, follow their Instagram, the Collab Inc. Or if not, check them out. Just come walk by.
On Instagram, it's _Collab Inc.
Yes.
And on Facebook, it's just the Collab Inc.
No, I think it's okay. I think we're getting to the end.
Okay.
Should I do my other one?
Yeah.
So my other recommendation is I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan.
Woo.
His The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. The reason I bring it up in this episode is because it's a movie about a man who brings together a team. And though he messes up and he fails, and
totally Michael Scott's it, you know,
he causes chaos and problems and all these things. They're still totally behind him because he's passionate about what he believes in, and he not only that, he shows them a good time. He shows them how to have fun, like you were when you were a kid.
They see things they've never seen before. You know what I mean? And that's pretty cool. Like I liked it when I don't want to ruin it, but he came to this sort of self-realization, and it was cool throughout the whole movie. You see that he's following this different path, and you're like, fuck, I appreciate that. And you brought me to this part, and it wasn't even what we thought it was going to be, and it's even more beautiful. I mean, that's what I thought. It was pretty cool. Bill Murray, you're a great actor, man. My recommendation is the movie from 1963, The Jason and the Argonauts. My dad showed me that movie when I was a kid, and this man really appreciated the special effects of that time. You know, he was like he loved King Kong too, and he would say, look at that, like nobody does that nowadays. The CGI is like, he's totally against the CGI. You know, he loves the hard work that goes into it, and some of it's stop motion, some of it's just a guy on a big ass green screen, and you know, the actors are cool. My favorite part of that movie is there's this really smart dude who comes on. Hercules is a part of the Argonauts, which is Jason's team. And this really smart dude, I can't really remember, but I'm pretty sure it's some philosopher, and he's trying to join. Hercules is looking at him because they're all competing on the beach. They have the discus, and they're all throwing it and trying to hit this reef. Now, Hercules is the only guy strong enough to hit this reef. And the smart dude says, I can hit that reef. Of course, Hercules is laughing at him. Jason tells him, you hit that reef, you're on the team. Smart homie, he fucking gets the disc, and he skips it on the water. And he hits the fucking reef. Hercules becomes his best friend because you outsmarted the brute. Yeah. And they became homies, and they went off into the different islands, and they fought monsters together. It was fucking cool. So Jason and the Argonauts is my recommendation. How about you, Alex?
So in keeping the theme of community, I'm gonna say George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. It's basically a community breaking down. So it takes place after Dawn of the Dead, which is
this the black and white one?
No, that's Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, okay.
Dawn of the Dead is in the mall, and Day of the Dead is in an underground military base. So basically, what they're doing is there's about 2 scientists, 1 person who basically takes care of like the cleaning of the area. So he's not a janitor, but custodian, like handyman all around.
They trust him to clean all the back.
Yeah, like get electricity back up, stuff like that. And a guy who knows how to ride a helicopter so that they can get out of there in time. So as people start dying down, like the only people who are left are all military, and they're all going crazy because they've been stuck in there for a couple of years now, and it's just the rank for each person just keeps going down and down and down, and eventually they find out that a lot of the people, their soldiers died, are being experimented on by the head scientist. So they basically revolt, and like 24 or 48 hours, everything starts to crumble within that base, and they have to leave. But it's really good because you start to see how
is it about them escaping?
Part of it is them escaping, but part of it is coming to a realization that they're not going to survive even if they stay there.
I see. It's all over the world.
Yeah. The zombies are everywhere. They're stuck in Florida, but like I said, it comes to an ultimatum that like even if they weren't fighting, they'd be stuck there anyways. So it's probably my favorite George A. Romero film, at least of his Dead series.
We have me that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What we're talking about, like a simple zombie movie. Like, have you ever seen The Horde? It's in French, but it's probably one of my favorite zombie movies. It's fucking chaotic. Like the first scene, you're not even convinced it's a zombie movie because it's like cops versus gangsters, and these gangsters killed a cop, and all the cops' friends, they are off duty. They go to those gangsters fucking in the projects, and they go and try and fucking kill them. And something goes wrong, and they have the cops in there with them, and that's when the zombie break happens. So these two dudes who have people that they've killed from each other, you know, gangs and then cops, they have to work together to get the fuck out, even though they hate each other. They don't even trust each other. And there's a point where like this cop, it's all in French, like I said, but the cop's telling them like, hey, I don't give a fuck about you, but we got to get out of here. And I think you know that.
Yeah.
And so everything just fucking, everybody's on a team now. And it's so good, man. Like there's one dude who just goes, there's this old man that they find in the complex, and he's from the Korean War or some shit. So they found the drug dealers do meth and shit to hype him up. And this fucking old dude did the whole thing. And he's like, and he goes out there and he just starts chopping off zombie heads. It's fucking great. He's an old man and like, oh, it's great. So any recommendations from yourself?
All right. So during this whole time, I was trying really hard to think of like one that I really wanted to pick. And then Alex said to keep in theme with Community. And I thought, what's more Community than the show Community?
I've never seen that. I heard great things about it, but I haven't seen it.
It is fantastic up until a certain point. It's okay.
This is a show.
It's a show.
It's on like NBC or something like that.
Is it still on?
No,
it's finished. It's by it's written and directed, don't quote me on that, by Dan Harmon. He also worked on
Rick and Morty.
Nice.
He's under a little fire right now too.
Really?
Yeah. So he explained in the last episode, but the guy, you know, they resurfaced some shit, you know, just like because he spoke against the Trump administration, I feel. And all of a sudden all this shit resurfaced about some gnarly shit that he did.
Okay.
It's
Stupid shit from the past?
Yes, really stupid. Like incredibly stupid.
How far in the past? Are we talking a couple months or a couple years?
Not years. We're talking about years.
Okay. A lot of people can change in 5 years.
Yeah, people can change in a week, you know, but you know, it's very unsettling with whatever it is that they found.
Have you seen it yet? Because I haven't heard about.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Just see his face.
This is the first I've heard.
It's
of
just
this.
what the face is that it's enough to make all the other people have an excuse. Is all. You know, I feel like it's enough. Like he's never harmed a child. He's never done anything of the sort. But you know, I believe it was Showtime. He was producing a thing for Showtime, and like a pilot for a satirical show about pedophiles. He was a pedophile who was a therapist, and being a therapist, he was with a client, and he gave him like these different pills to put him to sleep because the guy has a baby. So the guy has a plastic baby. You know, it's obviously, you can see they want to make it obvious that it's plastic, and they put him down. And, you know, Dan Harmon, he sneaks into the room and he's like, now that he's asleep, and then like drops his pants and they shut it off. like they close off what's happening, but you can kind of hear it, and it's unsettling. It's a plastic baby, yes, and it's like it's all, but there's the sign, the symbolism.
So there's a pilot for this, or
it didn't. Of course, it didn't make it through or anything. But yeah, you can look it up on YouTube.
so there's like a 5-minute video of it.
Yeah,
or?
exactly.
Oh,
5
okay.
minutes, yeah, maybe 4, but yeah. It's just real quick and easy, and I mean, shit. It's just like I said, it's enough to piss people off enough to go, I have a son, so this shouldn't happen. And it's like, well, you know, Edgar Allan Poe, he wrote books on murdering and raping women. There, I don't think he raped or murdered anybody. I don't think he could. He was a little meek dude. That was his outlet, though, you know. And as AP said before, like everybody needs that fucking outlet. But yeah, just to keep you updated on what's happening with Dan Harmon.
Back to Community.
Yeah. I guess all I'm trying to say is that I'd be a great dad. Is all I'm saying.
You know, the one great thing about Community that I think they showed off really well is why people would stop going to community college, because it's just so much bullshit that they have to go through. I completely understand why they do a good job of it. Like I remember, like oh man, like I gotta wait until next semester to take this class I need just so I can get out of here as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Like all that is in Community. Plus they do a pretty good job of basically everything else that comes with it.
Yeah. The thing I love about it is like I really like the characters. I feel like they all have a lot of heart in them, and I feel weird saying this now, but like I've seen like some behind the scenes stuff, and like they were saying like each of the characters has a little bit of Dan Harmon in them.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
But I think probably my favorite thing has to be there's certain episodes that like mimic like movie styles and like just basic tropes like that, and like I just love it because the whole show feels like, oh, let's just do this because we can, and it's done right, if that makes any sense. So there's like
the PayPal episode is really good. That's probably
exactly what I was going to They have an episode where there's a school-wide paintball game, and it's all, the whole episode is stylized like, there's multiple episodes. So there's one that's like a war movie. There's one that's like a cowboy western. There's like a bunch of different things, and they just get real silly with it, and I love it. It's good cinematography.
Awesome. We got all of everybody said something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so we're gonna move on to our fantastical fan favorite. You with me here, AP?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Enter
Rumble.
Presented by Clapping.
So in one corner, we got a pretty dominant force and an awesome team of brothers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 90s. Okay, and
you say the 90s. There's a pretty big shift in terms of 90s.
Well, we got like maybe
late 90s, like when they're
early 90s when the Ooze came out.
Do you mean the cartoon?
We
keep going, and then we'll go into specifics.
Well, see, look at we got the Power Rangers 90s, so we had to associate it.
So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yes, and then we have the Ninja Turtles.
And not the new movie. Or...
No.
Okay.
We're talking about the first two movies. If you have any comic book knowledge on it, that'd be perfect too. But the Power Rangers from the 90s, they're facing those guys. Okay. So we'll open up with the Ninja Turtles. The Ninja Turtles, in this particular battle, I feel it's a perfect fight between like resourceful fighters who don't have like projectiles or technological advances, but they can throw, and they're accurate, and they're stealthy, they're assassins. And when you got the Power Rangers on the other side who rely on technological advances, they're skilled fighters, but the suit is what enhances their strength. You know, so right off the bat, I think a weakness is the suit. If you can take the suit off, you render the fighter. Am I correct?
I would say that works, but you gotta understand that they're still skilled martial artists. That's basically all they do when they're not.
But so did the Ninja Turtles. And I'm saying, like, as a human, if you're going to fight the Ninja Turtles, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I would say their body is what keeps them strongest. It's the shell. That alone. And even then, turtles have thick skin.
Yeah.
So
is the turtle shell bulletproof?
I mean, I'm not going to take a turtle out and a bullet out.
No, I'm just.
I don't want to find.
It says a lot if they have like a fucking near indestructible shell.
I feel like for the movie, mutant turtle would have a bulletproof
shell, right?
But in terms of real life, I don't. I'm sure there's
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are not real, y'all. But no, like I would think so too, which makes me think like if they did have projectiles, if they did have weapons, could they use their shell as a shield? You know, like if they shot at them, they could just go pink.
I've seen that before in terms of comics or even shows. So
I even see the show where the foot shooting lasers because they can't fucking put bullets. It's too non-kiddie. But yeah, I do remember that. Any other information that you can give?
I am very young and uncultured.
Oh, that's right. His what the knowledge is only extended to the movies as of now, right?
Not even that.
No.
Here's the thing. Growing up, I never was. I did not like Power Rangers. I just the style was weird to me.
Which Power Rangers did you grow up on? Like the Turbo or the Dino, whatever crap?
Maybe. I just remember there was a lot of really weird like choreography with their like movements and
the camera angles and I can see how it could throw someone off who's like already like almost born into the
version of Power Rangers that you're talking about, the
90s.
It's the 16th installment
of that's what I was telling you.
The Super Sentai version.
They've been around since like the 70s.
Yeah, so it's not even like what we got was absolutely new in terms of like what they have been processing. That stuff has been
but
really
it is
old.
better though. I mean,
and the other thing is, I completely understand why people would be turned off the second that version was done, because in Japan they have an idea of what Super Sentai is. And Super Sentai, they're constantly changing their costumes, so it's not a big thing. But for some reason in America, we got super attached to those costumes, and when the people started leaving, we really couldn't grasp that. I feel, and that's why I felt like that was that big like drop off in terms of like people who viewed it. I feel like right after the movie came out and they introduced like the new characters, because right off the bat, Trini was gone.
Well, I think it was because it was sudden. Like all of a sudden, Trini died. You know,
no, that wasn't it yet. She didn't die until after she had left. Yeah, she left because
she had died. She was doing the show still.
No. She left because of a pay disagreement. They weren't being paid by union standards.
I see.
Because Saban had button.
And what about Billy? I heard he left because he was being ridiculed for being gay.
Billy was there. Billy was there until the end.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he's one of the
everybody got booted out except for fucking Tommy.
Tommy, that's the green one right?
The right one, yeah. He's the only one that kept coming back.
I remember the blue one because the blue one even came back for cameos and further seasons, I've heard.
But that's cameo. I mean, like he left the show. He didn't like Tommy. He didn't like Jason David Frank. He's a religious dude, and he kept on stabbing at him for his being gay and stuff. So that the team didn't really work already.
And
then once everybody left, it was rather abrupt. So we couldn't really get attached to those characters. And when we saw them leave, it was like, well, why the fuck am I going to invest in a whole new guy? I'm halfway investing in the Power Rangers that we have now. Because when they brought in the new Black Ranger, the new Red Ranger, the new Yellow Ranger, now we had to start all over with these guys, which I was personally fine with.
I wasn't. That was a big drop off for me. I like.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like abruptly they left, and you're like, I'm not attached to anything now.
Yeah.
And same thing though. Like once they did a Dino Turbo shit, I was like, oh god, no, I got to get off this. I couldn't follow through with it either. But back to the Inter-Realm Rumble itself. The Power Rangers, like I said, even if they had their Megazord, I feel like the Ninja Turtles will sneak in that shit and whip their ass and pull them out and just beat the shit. Like so far, my side right now is for the Turtles. Does anybody have anything for the Rangers on why they think they would win? Why would the Power Rangers beat the Ninja Turtles?
Just a boosted armory over them. That's really the way I see it. You said their armor works in their favor too. I really do feel that their armor helps them. It doesn't slow them down like a turtle shell would, because it's basically like spandex. So it's easy to move.
Oh, so you're saying that you think that the Power Rangers would win because they're lighter?
Yeah, they do have that attack. The armor makes them stronger, and they still have guns and weapons on their side.
You think the Power Rangers, their armor is stronger than the turtles?
Yeah, I wouldn't see them like fighting the turtles as teenagers.
I
would see
guess
them after they transform.
I mean, the Power Rangers though, their armor is just. I mean,
it's very skilled Hispanics. Yeah, I don't see that.
But it enhances their strength and everything. That's about it. I mean, like this, it's supposed to be a suit, like a future suit. It's. I mean, like the fact that it's spandex. I mean, that's probably all they could afford.
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah.
But the idea is that they're empowered. But what I feel is that the Ninja Turtles have gone up against guys who are super powered or even in robotic, machines that they have to fight, and they end up beating them. But you had mentioned something else about these particular Power Rangers that, I don't think turtles are slower because they were mutated from not infants. They were infants. They grew up. They know their body, and they know unless they gain weight, then that's the opposition. That's the displacement of weight. But they grow up and they're very aware of their own weight. So I think their strength, the fact that they can move as fast as they can, is a testament to their strength. I think they can move just as fast. And I think they have a great anticipatory skill being ninjas. Sometimes speed isn't the most important thing. Have you ever seen like that dude who can teleport, but Sabretooth can fucking catch him? It's just an anticipatory skill that I think the Ninja Turtles are equal to on that. They have like higher senses and stuff. Anybody else with knowledge on Power Rangers?
No, I was gonna say I'm ready for my vote.
How about you?
I can't really think of anything beyond what the Power Rangers are. Like I said, I dropped off watching it after they dropped the original Black, Yellow, and Red Ranger. And it's weird because you were talking about this. The Turtles are my first comic book characters that I loved. I can honestly say, okay, these are comic book characters, and I mean, from as young as I am, from what I can remember, it was probably Turtles, Batman, Power Rangers, X-Men, in terms of like
what you were
gradually what I started like liking. So I have a big thing in my heart for Turtles and Power Rangers to another extent too. I mean, even thinking like even Donatello, like he's really good with machines, and later on in the comic books, he gets rid of his limbs almost and becomes a machine.
Cyberman. Oh, shit.
Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me for him to, like you said earlier, because I've seen episodes where their Megazords don't work or they're going up against a giant monster, but they have to like work around it.
AP2, they don't bring out the Megazord unless they need it.
Yeah.
Unless the Turtles bring some shit out. I never seen them just say, hey, we got to start with this.
Yeah.
So, well, my vote is for the Power Rangers.
Really?
Nah. My vote is for the Ninja Turtles, y'all.
Yeah,
Alex?
I think minus the Zords, which I don't think that would be very fair. And even if it was just weapon on weapon, I guess, yeah, if it's concerning that, I would give it to the Turtles. I think, like you said earlier, them being comfortable with their body and being able to know how to throw it around. And you first see turtles, it's gonna be slow.
Yeah, you assume slow. Yeah.
So imagine being, hit in the face with a 195-pound shell.
And then that weight multiplies every 5 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Physics. Yeah. How about you, AP?
Turtles.
Turtles. Turtles. Okay. If you guys got any information to dispute this, feel free to share it with us. But right now, it seems like it's unanimous. We have the Turtles winning in this one. Congratulations, Ninja Turtles.
There you go.
My favorite. Real quick, who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Michelangelo. He's a party dude.
Yes. Michelangelo's my favorite too because he's the youngest. And I had to deal with my older brother who's much like Raphael. How about you, Who's your favorite Ninja? Michelangelo. We got 3 Mikeys. 4 Mikeys. No, I'm just kidding. He's like, no.
I hate my answer, but it's just because like when I was a kid and I watched the cartoon, I was like edgy, so I was like, oh hey, Raphael's edgy. So
yeah, I get it.
I never really got that though. Maybe just haven't like read the comics. Is he really that edgy? I just feel like he's kind of like a hot case.
He's hot-headed. He's not.
He was like the edgiest of the bunch, so that was like enough for me to be like, oh yeah, that guy.
I see. You tipped that scale.
I don't see Raphael like doing a meme account or anything.
I see. Just
more edgy in the way that like, oh, I'm so dark and broody.
or I'm the only one willing to walk away from my family. That's how edgy I am. Nah, come back. We got pizza. All right.
Yeah. So We're closing up our episode. Before we go, though, we want to tell you about our Art Swap Meet, which is this Friday at Smith Park during the Street Fest. We're going to be swapping art, and we're going to have a meeting. So if you have any ideas for Home Gallery or what you think we should be doing, come on out. It's going to be during the Street Fest. So there's going to be Ozomatli, food, stuff for the kids. So just come out. It'll be a lot of fun. Also, I wanted to talk about our GoFundMe. If you haven't had a chance to watch our video about Home Gallery, please go to our YouTube and take a look. And if you like what we're about and are passionate about what we're passionate about, please don't think about donating some money for our cause. We'll put it to good use.
Yeah, this doesn't work without you guys. Just like very much like you guys showing up to the events for the support, it's equally as good to support us. I mean, with whatever you can. I mean, we have no problem showing you exactly what we're doing with this money. We already got a few donations, and thank you to those people who did donate.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
we really appreciate it, you guys, and keep it up. And keep up the support. And I just wanted to say, like, once again, the Ludus, if you guys want to start training, $25 a month. There's an initiation fee, and then just monthly after that, every first. You'll be around a bunch of people who are like you, trying to strive to train to just be better and more in shape, being able to protect your family, your friends, yourself, and just knowledge you can take home with you. It's really good to practice at home, and it's a distressor. Once again,
tarot card readings, don't forget.
Oh yeah,
$25. It usually ends up being like 2 hours. It's mostly based on growth, trying to grow as a person, trying to be better.
Just take a psychological therapy approach to it. It's really awesome.
I can vouch.
Yeah. Do you see any questions? If we have no questions, we'll sign off. But if we do get any, we'll answer them to the end.
But before that, did you guys have anything that you wanted to promote?
If you need a PR guy, I'm the right person to go to.
I do freelance photography and film.
Fantastic stuff, guys.
But if you haven't seen the video he did for Home Gallery, you should go check it out for the Dawn Con.
Yeah.
It was beautifully done.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
That was cool. It was really inspiring. We got inspired by it. And we try to do it as as good and everything, but we have fun with it too.
Yeah.
I want to say this. I'm actually really proud of you guys. Like I love seeing like the podcast and just like your videos in general. I really see like the growth in you guys' editing and just filming in general.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
I see the like
evolution.
Well, not only that, but like I see the passion. Like,
yeah. Thank you for that.
When I make videos,
That's like the best compliment we can hear, because like nothing but passion goes into this. Like we wouldn't feel like the need to get up at 4 a.m. just to do some research for an episode if we didn't think it were, to us, which it is. I love using comic books as the segue to feed information to people or have people look at certain things in a different light.
I actually I was listening to it the other day, and I really like how you integrate that into the real world with like mutant news and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's a very brilliant way to conjoin your interest and not just have it be just a comic book podcast. It's like you want to talk about stuff that affects you.
That you're passionate about too. Yeah, just like you said, man. This is pure passion for us and everything, and we want to do this till the day we die. We love comic books, we love stories, we love character development, we love all that. So to share it with every single one of you guys and yourself and the Home Gallery crew, it's an ultimate blessing. And I really rarely use that word. I've just been fortunate to work with such great talent. Hey y'all,
some fans outside.
Hey. Oh, they flashed us. Stop, guys, stop. Okay. But other than that, you got anything else?
No, just wanted to do our last shout out to the Uptown Whittier Art Stroll for letting us be a part of this, and to once again to Collab Inc.
Thank you guys so much. This was an amazing experience. You guys have an amazing facility here. Yeah. I mean, we are very appreciative of this opportunity, guys. Yes, thank you, Collab Inc. And that's it, guys. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the live episode.
Please come and see us next time at our next art show, and we'll keep you updated on everything. And
come out to the meeting on Friday.
Feel free to communicate with us. And anyway, DM us, email. We love you guys.
Night Ride. Don't forget to come out.
Oh, yeah, the Night Ride.
Come out to the Night Ride. Yeah.
All right. That's the end of our episode, y'all.
Have a good week, everyone.
Love you guys. Peace.
Bye.